My mom staged practice dinners for photos so we'd look needy. I only learned the truth at 16. When I was a kid, my mom had a thing she called practice dinner. About once a month, she'd announce it like a holiday and pull out the good plates. She lit 2 candles and turned on classical music from the little radio on the fridge. She cooked like it was Thanksgiving. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, green beans, buttered rolls. The house smelled warm and made my stomach growl. My sister Scarlett and I bounced around waiting for her to say it was time. But practice dinner had one rule. We didn't eat, not a bite. We sat for exactly 1 hour and pretended. My dad cut his steak into neat squares and moved them around like he was savoring each piece. Scarlett and I dabbed our mouths after fake bites and took small sips of water to keep from laughing. Mom wanted it to look real. She'd coach us in the kitchen first. Chew slow. Make a small, say something nice about the seasoning. Don't let your fork stay clean. Tap the plate now and then. She documented everything. Photos, then her old camcorder with the red light. She framed our full plates and our happy faces. She'd ask, "What do we say?" And one of us would answer, "This is the best meal ever, Mom." Another line was, "I'm so grateful for this delicious food." At 60 minutes, she'd clap. Practice over. She slid the food into containers. She stacked them in the freezer and handed us cereal or PB&J. I asked once why we couldn't eat the practice food. She said, "We're saving it for when we really need it." It sounded serious, so I dropped it. Sometimes practice dinner happened twice in a week. The freezer filled with labeled boxes. I opened the door just to look. She also picked our oldest clothes for school on certain days, even though we had nicer ones. She told us to tell a teacher if we felt hungry. She took phone calls in a low voice about documentation and proof of need. When I turned 16, the truth fell out of a folder. I was grabbing paper in her home office. My elbow knocked forms. I knelt and started sorting. I saw our name on welfare applications. I saw food stamp paperwork. I saw photos of us at the table with full plates and captions she'd written underneath. The packets were arranged by date. Margin notes showed dollar amounts. Beside one was, "Dinner scene, value, $200. There were our lines. Chew slow. Say the grateful line." The door clicked. Mom stood in the doorway and looked at the papers, then at me. She set the keys down and covered the folder with her palm. "What is this?" I asked. "It's how I keep the lights on," she said. "It's how I make sure you and Scarlett have shoes. It's how we get help when the rules say we don't qualify, because on paper we look fine. On paper, we have dinner." "You told us we were practicing," I said. "We were," she said. "Practicing being believed." She slid the forms back into place. "You want to eat those dinners? Then tell me what you'll say when the caseworker asks about the plates." I didn't answer. I thought about the freezer, my dad's neat squares, and Scarlett's little savoring sound. "You think I like this?" she asked. I called for an appointment. They said the next opening was months away and to bring documentation. So I made documentation. We need help. They don't see need unless I show it. I freeze the food because if anyone checks our trash, they won't find a feast, she added. If I serve it later, we still have proof. If I serve it now, we've got nothing. A timer chimed in the kitchen. "That's the rolls," she said. "We're doing practice dinner tonight." She paused. "If you can't do it, say so now." I followed her to the kitchen. Oven heat hit my face. She brushed the rolls with butter. My dad came in from the garage. Scarlett set forks and knives in tight lines. No one spoke about the folder. We took our seats. Mom raised the camcorder. Dad cut his steak into squares and moved them slowly. I lifted my fork and let it scrape the plate so it would sound right on the tape. "Ready?" Mom asked. "Ready," Dad said. "Ready," Scarlett said. Mom said, "Action." We did the lines. We did the napkin dabs. We did the slow chew of nothing. I blew on the empty fork like the food was hot. Mom gave me a small nod. The timer crawled from 60 minutes. The smell pressed on my throat. I kept my hands still. When the timer finally beeped, Mom clapped. "Great job!" She closed the camcorder. She moved the food into containers fast, lids snapping shut. The freezer door opened and filled again. I poured cereal. Scarlett found the peanut butter and the jelly. I walked back to the office, slid the folder onto the desk, and squared the edges. I didn't leave a note. I didn't take a picture. When I sat down again, Mom looked at me for 1 extra second and then looked away. She didn't say thank you. I didn't ask for one. The candles burned to small dots. The freezer hummed like a second clock. Then we ate. Now people are saying I'm enabling her by playing along. Was I out of line?